There's a trap hurting even established contractors during peak season. When leads are coming in, you're slammed and the money's good. And this right here is the exact moment I see a lot of contractors actually blow the whole thing. What happens is that when lead flow is great, something else in the business is likely to break as well. This can be sales, operation, fulfillment. It's pretty much theory of constraints in full motion. Maybe your CRM starts turning into a mess, some leads start slipping through the cracks. Perhaps it's a production issue and you can't keep up with the work that's coming in. Or sometimes it's just a number on a report that looks out of place and you start reacting. The one lever that you can pull today, the easiest one to pull really, is marketing. So you tell yourself,
I dial it back, I fix the other thing, and the calls come right back. That's all this is.
Unfortunately, they won't, and believing it will is one of the most expensive mistakes that I see contractors make. So let me show you what's really going on when you do that and what the ones who actually scale do instead. I've been doing this for over 2 decades. In that time, I built a handful of businesses, some flopped, a couple worked, and I spent a good chunk of the last several years watching contractors specifically run the same play over and over. Here's what 20+ years in this teaches you. Your business is always breaking somewhere. There's always something that needs fixing, and that never really stops, no matter how big you get. But your marketing is the oxygen for the whole thing. Your leads, your sales, your cash flow, all of it breathes off your marketing. So when you choke it off to go and deal with a problem somewhere else, you don't really fix that problem faster. You start just suffocating everything that depends on it. The ones who win keep the oxygen on and fix the problem while the business is still breathing. Now, step back for a second, because this is really about how you carry yourself when you finally get something good. You spent years wishing for this, right? More work than you can handle, money coming in faster than you can spend it. This is the thing that you prayed for. And now that it's here, your gut tells you to make it smaller because you're not sure you can handle it. In Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 to 30, Jesus tells the parable of the 3 servants. A rich man goes on a long trip and gives money to 3 workers. And he tells them, hey, take care of this while I'm gone. 2 of them get to work. They use it, they grow it, they double it. But the 3rd guy, he gets scared. He thinks, what if I mess this up? So he digs a hole and buries the money in the ground. When the rich man comes back, he is proud of the first 2, right? They took what they had and they made it grow. So then he trusts them, obviously, with even more. But the 3rd guy just says, well, I was afraid, so I hid it. And then the master does something that maybe sounds harsh. He takes the money away from the scared worker and gives it to the one who already doubled his money. And it makes sense because one man proved that he can handle more and the other one proved that he wouldn't even use what he had. That's the whole lesson right here. When you get handed something good and you shrink from it because you got scared, you're pretty much burying it. The pro, the real owner, doesn't freeze up and start asking, how do I make sure that I don't screw this up? He looks at it and goes, all right, I've got something real here. I'll figure out how to handle it. And he gets to work, and that's what leaders do. He trusts himself to solve the problem in front of him instead of running from the opportunity. So why not just pause it for a month while you sort the rest out? Well, because it doesn't really come back the way that you think it does. Paid ads run on momentum. Google and Meta spend weeks learning who to put in front and for how much. Move a budget more than about 20% in either direction, and the system throws out what it learned and starts recalibrating. Pause it, and you're back to square one. When you flip it on again, you're not just resuming, you're reteaching the machine from cold, and that costs you weeks or worse leads at higher prices. If you genuinely have to pull back on spend, don't slash it. Start stepping it down. The way that my team does it, we cut about 20% every couple of days until we hit that number so the learning stays intact. Chop it in half overnight and you've kicked the whole thing back into the cold. And the same thing happens with scaling as well. Once we ignored our own best practices and doubled the 1,000-day budget on a campaign. The CPL just went a bit wild after that. It didn't mean that the campaign was broken, but the sudden change made the cost per client acquisition less predictable, and that took time to dial back in. SEO is the same animal. The consistency is the entire point. Go quiet for a month and just clawing your way back is twice the work. Same goes for branding. Every time somebody sees your name before they even call you, that's you slowly earning their trust. Nobody becomes a customer off one touch. People need to see you 5, 8, 10 times before they pick up the phone. So when you cut all of that out, you pretty much set the trap. You don't feel it right away, right? The leads still come in because the people calling you this month already got their touches months ago. You already paid for that trust. That's what makes this feel free to actually cut. But you just stopped filling the top, right? And 3 or 4 months from now, the people who should have been warming up to you never did because you went quiet on them. The bill always comes. It just shows up late and you won't be able to connect it to the month that you pulled back. So now let's talk about the panic that comes from staring at the wrong metric. In the book Traction by Gino Wickman, he talks about running the business on an operating system. You may have heard of EOS. There, he hammers on measurables, the few numbers that actually run your company. And he splits those KPIs into leading indicators and lagging indicators. Leading indicators are the things that you do, the actions that you take. Ads that you test, content that you put out, how fast can you call a lead back, how many times you follow up, all of that. This is all immediate and fully in your control. Lagging indicators, on the other hand, are the results, and these show up later. Leads this week, cost per lead, sales, revenue. Those bounce all over the place and they trail behind the work that's actually being done. Watching your leads day to day is like stepping on a scale 3 times a day. You'll be up 2 pounds, down 3, and if you react to every reading, you lose your mind over water weight. The best approach is to weigh yourself daily at the same time, ideally in the morning, and then do weekly averages. Then you compare this month to the previous months, and the leads are no different. A slow week tells you almost nothing. The monthly trend against last year's same month may be able to tell you more of the truth. Because seasonality is real. It's summer, of course you're flush. But winter's a different animal, and if you don't have a full year of data yet, a slow stretch is not your cue to start yanking levers. You trust the work and you keep consistent. Example, 2 roofers, same town, same slow week in shoulder season. The first one panics, chops his budget to stop the bleeding, resets his whole machine, and by the next month he's way worse off and convinced that marketing doesn't work. The second one checks his monthly trend against last year's and goes, yep, seasonal lull, and leaves everything running. Come spring, one's pretty much rebuilding from zero and the other's already at full speed. If you've ever felt that itch to pull back, subscribe because this next part is the one that actually puts money back in your pocket. Here's the one that almost everybody gets wrong. When you're dead sure that marketing's the problem, it's usually just the easiest thing to blame. It sounds something like this.
My marketing's too expensive. It's costing me a fortune to land a customer.
Alright, let's run some real numbers because I've got them in front of me. In a competitive niche market, maybe a click on Google Ads runs you about 20 bucks. I'm looking at the Real Roofing account in New Jersey right now. 3 months, just under 18 grand in spend, 66 leads. Well, that's about 270 bucks per lead. And that's pretty close to the price of admission in roofing right now if the brand isn't very established. Now, the cost to land a real customer comes down to what you do after the lead actually comes in. Let's say that 3 out of 4 of those leads book an appointment. That puts you around 360 bucks an appointment. Now, let's say that you close 1 out of every 20 appointments that you run. That means that it's costing you $7,200 to land 1 single customer. That feels brutal, so you start blaming the ads. But watch this. Same spend, same leads, same appointments. The only thing you change is your sales. You start closing 1 out of 5 booked appointments, which is a 20% close rate, instead of 1 out of 20. Now your actual cost to acquire a client is 1,800 bucks. Nothing really about the marketing moved. You just stopped letting jobs walk out the door. Now if your average roof job is like 15 grand at 1,800 bucks to land one, you're pretty much laughing your way to the bank. You can't talk about return on ad spend, ROAS, or cost to acquire a client, CAC, without taking revenue into account. Marketing brings people to the table, but the money shows up when you close them. So whenever a client tells us that his marketing is too expensive, we look at all of the numbers and it's rarely a marketing problem. It's usually a setting problem, or a closing one, or a follow-up issue, right? Or a broken CRM that's dropping leads on the floor. And I know that I yap about this constantly, but if you actually want to find your leak, record your calls. Both kinds. The calls where your team books the appointment and the in-home appointments. If you're not recording that stuff yet, get on top of it this week. That is actually where you'll see the deals that you're bleeding, and that's the lever with the most room to move. The best part is that it's very easy nowadays to feed your favorite AI tool the transcript to those sets or appointments and figure out where you're dropping the ball, so you can tighten up your sales process in no time. Right now, it's summer, you're printing, and none of this feels really urgent. That's exactly why I made this video, so you can see the trap even before that slow stretch comes. And it always does. So when that hits, remember what this actually is. You finally got the thing that you wanted. Don't bury it because you got scared. Keep the oxygen on, zoom out past the weekly noise, and proactively fix the leaks. Don't pull the plug on the thing that's actually working. Build a business that can hold it. Calm scales, panic just resets the clock. If you need more help using AI to improve your sales process, especially your pre-qualification process, watch this video that'll show up on the screen somewhere. I'll see you in the next one.